The Chicago Bears begin OTAs today. So what are some of the top storylines to watch? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Style back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. Of course, if you're a Bears fan, make sure to go ahead, hit that big red subscribe button down below, guys. All right, let's get into it, people. So the Bears begin OTAs today, in case you guys did not know. So OTAs obviously stands for Organized Team Activities. And so over the next 3 weeks, the Bears will hold 9 voluntary off-season workouts before holding veteran minicamp from June 14th to 16th. So now it's really starting to kick in gear, people. Like, we're going to get closer and closer to football season. I can't wait. Some of the storylines to watch. Let's talk about that, all right? We'll start at number 1 for me. The biggest thing to watch is how does Justin Fields in this offense look? I know that's easy to say, obvious to say, but it's true, because the most important thing for the Bears this season is going to be the development of Justin Fields. So how is he picking up Luke Getsy's offense, right? The West Coast Shanahan style offense, if you will. How is he picking that up? How is the chemistry with the offense, right? With the receivers, with the offensive line? How is he picking up the playbook? All of those things I want to hear about. I want to read about, and I'm going to do so. Now, let me make it very clear. I do not try to overreact to OTAs, okay? I do not try to overreact to what happens in the offseason in terms of practices and whatnot. But at the same time, there is a place for them, right? The reason I say I don't overreact is because you guys all remember last season when, before the season started, we thought, oh, Jamar Chase, he can't catch. He keeps having these drops and whatnot. And then the season starts, you know, obviously, and then Jamar Chase is an absolute beast. So, like, you can't take what happens in the offseason and apply it to the season and think it's going to correlate all the time. It's just not. So, it's just taking everything with a grain of salt. I need to see how Justin Fields is picking up the playbook. That's it. That's all I care about, all right? With the offense, the new receivers, right? Does he have chemistry with Byron Pringle, with Equanimeous St. Brown, with Velus Jones, like all these guys? That's number 1. Number 2, offensive line. I need to see, and this might be more important than even Fields in the offense in a way, I need to see how this offensive line is shaken up and who's starting at what position, all right? 3 spots are for the most part locked, all right? We know that. Cody Whitehair, Tevin Jenkins, and Lucas Patrick are solidified at their positions. We're talking center for Lucas Patrick, right tackle probably for Tevin Jenkins, and for Cody Whitehair is going to be left guard. So that means the right guard position is open and the left tackle position is open. So Larry Borom at the left tackle spot, presumably at this point penciled in to be starter. But do we think he's ready? Only going into the second year. I got to know that. And the same thing, right guard Dakota Dozier. I'm sorry, I don't want him starting. And that's an obvious open position that we can fill. And obviously we drafted so many offensive linemen. Maybe one of them emerges. I need to see how the offensive line looks in OTAs. And finally, number 3, the rookies. How do the rookies look, right? This is their first interaction with the veterans. How is Jaquan Brisker looking? Kyler Gordon. I know these guys are obviously, going to be solid and probably going to be starters, but I just want to see how they look. And then obviously Velus Jones Jr., because of the fact that he is going to be thrown into probably a pretty sizable role, if you will, because of how weak the wide receiver corps is. So I want to see that. And I want to see how these rookies look, right? We talk about the offensive linemen. Can one of them take a starting spot? We talk about Velus Jones Jr. Could he start right away? The 2 stud secondary pieces we took in terms of Brisker and Kyler Gordon, and I should call them studs at this point. They still have something to prove, so we'll see. But I got to see how they all how they all look, okay? So again, just to recap, Fields in the offense, the offensive line, and then the rookies. That's what I'm looking for in OTAs. I'll keep you guys updated if I hear anything, see anything worth noting, talking about. Let me know what you guys are looking for to storylines in OTAs. Let me hear them down below.